What's going on, YouTube? It's another day here. I was busy, and it's junk now. I don't need it anymore. And what we have to replace it is a nice, beefy replica. I just made it at work, brought it back, and I'll kind of show you guys what I did. The original tube, it was formed, so it was bent, you know. New tube, it was made out of a bunch of angles. I made it out of thicker wall steel, course, but yeah, so we have these plates here go up against the frame, and there's going to be one here on the outside, and I will weld the tube to the plate. Well, first I'll weld the plate to the frame, then the tube to the plate, both sides. I have one shock mount on. I wanted to wait to put the other one on until I got it in, and I'm able to kind of move it around if I need to. And then I have the fuel tank mount. I made that out of 3 pieces of steel. And then it has 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts in it. So yeah, it's pretty close. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's gonna do the job. And I also made a new bracket that goes from here to the frame that holds the fuel tank strap. So that will slide in here in a second. I did not want to make a whole new upper fuel tank mount bracket, so this one just needed kind of replaced right in this section. So I tacked it on a table, kind of how it was, that way I could keep the angles, and I cut out the bad part and just connected the two again. We're gonna go ahead and slide this thing in. You know, I already did it once, so should just go right in there. So basically turn this thing upside down, slide it in there, turn it back around, and slide it back through. Now I'm roughly going to put this piece in its place so I can kind of eyeball where this fuel tank mount needs to be. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to tack this in place. I may bring over the gas tank and put it up in and kind of make sure that everything works. I like that. Kind of gonna put the fuel tank mount at a pretty level position. Might need to kind of angle it up a hair like that. All right, I think that's a pretty good position. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slide these plates up here, and I think I will dry fit the fuel tank just to be safe. I don't want to have to cut this apart. So my good buddy from work let me borrow his personal welder, and I've already dialed it in to work for what I need it for. For those of you interested, this is an older Hobart Betamig 200. I wouldn't say that it's a better MIG, but I think it gets the job done. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug that in, and we'll get started. Basically, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna tack these plates on first, and then I'll tack the tube to the plate. Went ahead and tacked a nut, well, welded a nut there on the bottom of this side of the fuel tank bracket. I'm glad that I looked, but because that would have kind of sucked. Those bolts are pretty long, and I was like, I thought they went into the tube. Sure enough, they did. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and drill a decent sized hole. All right, I went ahead and already drilled a pilot hole, and I got this little step bit. I think I'm gonna take it to about ½ inch, 9/16. Yep, burn that up already. All right, let's give the 5/8 drill bit a shot here. All right, I think that's a big enough hole. So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll weld this in. We'll weld the other one, get that bolted in, and we'll start cutting that rear support out, and I can take that to work. And I think we're gonna try and fix it because there's not much wrong with it. And then I also have a couple pieces to stiffen this frame up. And then after that, we're gonna be sandblasting and pour 15, and we'll go from there. All right, let me tack this thing quick. Then we're gonna come back tomorrow, and we're gonna go ahead and fit the fuel tank in, make sure that all fits and kind of snugs up there. And after that, it'll be some welding and see how this thing does for the long haul. We'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, it's the next day here, and we're ready to get back to work. So like I said yesterday, we're gonna go ahead and lift this tank up in. I already went ahead, put a bolt in the front member here, got everything set up, ready to go. So we're gonna lift this up in, put the straps on. We'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna kind of have to hold this and jack it up. I'm really happy to have this rapid pump now. I don't have to sit here and jack it up forever. So thanks again to my buddies who bought me this thing. Yep. This fuel neck here is holding me up quite a bit. All right, I can already tell I'm gonna have some issues here. So one of the issues is that I end up having to cut the shield because I can see that there's a notch for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark some of this. I'll take the shield off and I'll cut it later. And also back here at this mount, we're gonna have an issue. I might have to just trim it down just a hair to get it to fit in there. Because we're kind of in the right spot. Just can't go any higher up. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some marks and cut this, and I'll be back when I have it in this position, and we'll see if we can get it to fit. I'll be right back. It's about 40 minutes, nope, 43 minutes later, and finally got this up in here. Ended up having to cut this bracket off that I made, and I ended up making it look more like the other one because it was a little too close to the tank when I put it up. So now I have the tank up in there. I'm gonna pull it up as far as I can and put this against the tank. I was worried about that. The tank is like kind of going forward. There we go. That's good. Okay. Anyway, I think I'm gonna risk it and just tack it while the tank's up in here and hope I don't blow up. Okay, I think that'll work. I like it. I think we're ready to start welding on this thing. I'm pretty pleased with everything so far. So, oh, the only other thing I want to check quick is the shock mount. Let's check that out. I need to get a bigger drill bit anyway for this. But my plan is to bring the shock up like so. And then put the bolt through, and then I can put the other side on, that way I get the right angle. But that looks pretty good, so I'm pleased with that. But I can weld that on later. Alright, so we're first going to start by welding the plates to the frame, and then we'll come back. But we'll probably do some welding on tube to tube, and then tube to frame, and then kind of just jump around, make sure all the heat goes where it needs to be. And then, yeah, go from there. Not bad. Seen better, but I think that'll do the trick. Probably actually turn the speed up just a hair. I know what you're thinking. You're like, wait, wasn't I just watching some welding going on? Like, what the heck's going on? As you saw in my previous video, I stopped recording for a while, and I just wanted to kind of make a video out of the footage that I had before to kind of show you what's coming in the next video. So I'm gonna say some stuff in the next video that you're like, oh, but I saw that and I kind of know what's going on. So I kind of recorded that before I recorded the previous video that I just released. It's a little confusing, but after this video and the next video, everything's gonna make sense and everything will be back to normal. So that's kind of what's going on. I just wanted to give you the preface of what's to come. It's more truck stuff. So hopefully next week we'll have that video up. If not next week, maybe a week and a half or so. There's a lot of footage actually to go through because we're getting some work done on this pickup. Yep, and I ain't kidding you. It's quite a bit of stuff. So just hang in there. A little bit of bumpy restart here, but we're getting at it. And I hope you stay tuned. Thanks for watching KB Living, and I'll see you next time.